Okay, I'm... Ooh, I've got a bit of a stitch. I don't know what it comes from. It's like having a stitch in the stomach, but you get this muscle twinging feeling not all over the whole chest, just in like parts of it where one part of your chest goes twinge. Ouch! Like a muscle, nervous spasm, pulling pain thing. That doesn't make you feel really sick. It's just like... ouch! But it goes away after a while and it might never come back forever. It's just like anything really, shit, what did I do to my neck last night? Ouch. And you get a sore neck for a few days and it eventually goes away and you think, oh, okay, I don't know what happened there, but hopefully I don't get a sore neck again for a long time. It's just like that. Excuse me, I had some soft drink, sorry, so if I'm burping, well, that's just how it is. Oh, ouch. It's just like same as having a neck ache or toothache. Sometimes a toothache is just harmless, it's just sensitive. Sort of like that, goes away and you just think, oh, well, So I've got exercises this afternoon at 4 o'clock, which is pretty good. 4 till 5, and then come up here and I think I'll be making sandwiches. Actually, you know what? That'll give me a chance to practice steaming potato and pumpkin tonight because I want to make sandwiches. Yeah, I want to get a bit of practice at making, mashed veg. Well, I know how to mash the vegetables. The problem is, sorry guys, I'm just getting rid of that nervous ouch feeling. It's alright, just, it's a random thing that rarely ever happens. Don't know if it happens if I'm eating too fast, eat too much, I don't know, but it's random, so so basically it's not mashing the veggies that I have a problem with, it is cooking the veggies long enough. Like I cooked the potato and pumpkin for about 20 minutes and that was not even nearly long enough. I needed another 15 minutes in the steamer and I thought, yuck. I ate a small amount of potato, I ate all the pumpkin, and I ate almost all of the peas and corn. And minted peas are beautiful, by the way. They're lovely. Absolutely beautiful. I thought the minted peas were just wonderful. I will be cooking them again, steaming those again. I don't know, next week. So tonight I'm going to do potato and pumpkin again, but I'll be putting it in for about 35 minutes. Just to be sure that they're steamed enough. Even if I do it on a low steam for 40 minutes, or on a, medium boil with the steamer for, 35 to 40 minutes. I reckon about 40 minutes. Because I don't really like firm potato. I like it when it's firm but not chewy. It needs to be firm but in a soft, spongy sort of firmness, not a chewy, crunchy firmness. Ugh, yuck. Ugh. I think I might even have to boil the spuds rather than steam the potato, but you can steam potato. You can steam it. You can actually steam the potato, but then you got to steam it a bit longer. which is a bit of a pain in the bum really, but you can do it. Just thinking, if I oh hang on, what's 2 hours Saturday? Oh, game streaming. Oh, okay. That's done on the 18th of February 2017. Okay. And that was streamed 2 years ago. Okay. The problem with YouTube recommendations is I might have already watched that video and they still recommend it to me when I've already watched it. Like, I don't want to watch it again. If I want to watch it again, I'll find it myself and watch it again. I don't need YouTube to load recommendations that I've already watched when I can find it myself. No, I don't want that. Okay, I like some of the videos, fair enough. I don't want to read about that. I don't want to hear about that. Sorry. Anyway, I'm using my braille display, electronic braille display, and anyone that knows me knows I like reading in braille. I'm really liking this Q Braille XL because it's like it's essentially a virtual computer keyboard. It's got the F1 to F12 keys, blah blah blah, and basically it works really well as a phone keyboard. As a computer keyboard, it lags a little bit. I might see what happens when I've got a new laptop. I might see if it works better with a new laptop. But for now, it works really good with my phone, and I can read and talk at the same time using my braille display. When I used to just use VoiceOver, I would have to listen to VoiceOver, then speak, then listen to VoiceOver. I don't have to do that with my braille display because I can just read and talk at the same time. So yeah, just go next. Wow. Why does my back keep itching? Anyway, I like the fact that I can physically read and talk at the same time without having to use VoiceOver. Trying to make a decision about what I should do with YouTube. Well, I'm uploading this recording to YouTube, of course, but what am I going to do with my YouTube videos? I don't know, maybe I won't use YouTube to, what I mean is maybe I won't do anything with YouTube apart from upload this recording, but I was thinking of doing a video reaction, but couldn't be bothered with that. I really couldn't. It's pretty boring anyway. thought I might talk about all the books I've bought/added to my reading list over the years in Apple Books. So I might do that now. Oh, I've actually hidden a lot of my books in my account as well. I'm going to go to my library, my Apple Books library. I'm going to do that. So I've got collections. I want to show you how many books I've got in each collection. I've got 274 books in my want to read list. Books, 242 books. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. And yet it says I've got 235 books. Oh wow. So anything listed as new are books that I've downloaded but haven't even read yet. And any books that aren't new are books that I've downloaded and I've gone into that book and I still might not have read the book yet, but at least I've, tapped on the pages and flipped through the pages a bit, so then it thinks it's not a new book anymore. I might go and edit and put some of these books in my iCloud account and just keep the ones that aren't in iCloud. I could do that. So I could do that too. But at the moment I've got a whole list of books. I've got anything with a little tick at the side means I'm reading it. So I'm reading the I'm reading the NIV Study Bible, and I'm also reading, there's a sample of The First Commandment by Brad Thor. And there's a tick beside Anxiety is Your Superpower by Dr. Wendy Suzuki. Now I think there's a tick there because it's in my want to read and I could download that if I really want to. I don't want to do that. Wonder what book collections I should make, because I hide the books anyway. But yeah, if any one of you who I know of is listening, if there is a book I would really recommend, it is Anxiety is Your Superpower by Dr. Wendy Suzuki. Suzuki. And Wendy is spelt Wendy, like when you spell it, like in Peter Pan, Wendy. That's what I wanted to look at, Peter Pan. Oh, thank you. That just reminded me. Now I do need to look through my wanting to read list just to see if Peter Pan is in there. Thanks for the reminder. That gives me something to talk about here on my recording. The way I record and upload to YouTube is I use Recorder HQ, as in it is Recorder, as in Recorder, HQ, as in capital H, capital Q. Recorder HQ in my iPhone. I imagine it could work in Android, but it's an iPhone app as far as I know. And you do whatever recording you want to do, music or talking or whatever you want to record. Then you tap on share, and then you can share it with YouTube. You can even share it to your camera if you want, but I couldn't be bothered doing that. I just share it with YouTube. It converts to MP4 for YouTube anyway. So, but yeah, this Anxiety is Your Superpower by Dr. Wendy Suzuki sounds awesome. I'd recommend at least giving a go at reading. Then there's a whole massive amount of books that are new books that I haven't even touched yet. There's another book called The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, all 6 volumes by Edward Gibbon. And it's only 1% finished, being that's going to take me ages to read that book. There's another book that I haven't read yet called Man of Wax by Robert Schwarzwood, and it's a series. And it's got a tick next to it to say that I've downloaded it, but I haven't actually bought the book. I want to see if it's downloaded or not. I can't say it is. All books, all in series. Oh, new. Oh, okay. Okay. So I haven't actually read the book yet, but it's all ready to read. Meaning that it's not considered new, but then when you click on the series, it is a new. There are 3 new books there that I haven't even touched yet. Okay, so that's Man of Wax. Then there's Secrets Between Friends by Fiona Palmer. It's a new book. Facing the Line by Simone Arnold Leipster. And it's got a tick next to it to say that I've started reading it, but actually I've just opened the book as if I've started reading it, but really I haven't. So, there's all these other new books. There's another one that thinks that, okay, I've opened the book up, so it thinks it's open, which it is open, but I haven't really read it. It's called Shot Down by Alex Kerr. Oh, it says it's a finished book. I need to mark it as unfinished. Activate. How do I mark it as unfinished? Mark it as still reading. Why does it think I've finished? Add to collection, mark as finished. No. Rate. Dislike. I'm going to love the book, but I don't know how to mark it as finished because it as not finished. Shot Down. I'm going to at least put it in reading now because I want it to be still reading. Said it's loading. Okay. Loading. Oh, come on. It's stuck. It's loading on 82%. It's physically stuck. Oh, that's driving me crazy. Table of contents. Can you just hurry up and go through it, you stupid thing? Half title, copyright, whatever, foreword. I want it to realise I haven't finished. See, when I download a book from iTunes and then it has to be downloaded into the app, it thinks, oh, okay, I've finished reading it. Yeah, it thinks I'm reading, but obviously I've only just started reading the foreword, but I'm clearly not finished reading the bloody thing. I only just started. I might put a page bookmark in there just to make sure it keeps my place. So I know, even if it doesn't, I'll know where I'm starting. Another book that I like to, that I've wanted to read is called Stolen Voices by Terry Duckett and what's her name? And Duckett. Oh, okay, and it says 1% finished. There's a whole huge amount of new books. Then there's Holidays Ever After by, a whole list of authors that I haven't finished reading yet, but I've, started reading it a while ago. Satan's Deadly Trio by Jennifer Leclerc. It's 12% finished. I read quite a bit of the book the other day. I need to keep reading it. It's interesting. I don't believe anything she says, but it's one of those books where I don't believe what I'm reading, but I know it sounds interesting, so I continue to read it even though I don't believe any of it. It's classed as religious and spirituality, and it's non-fiction. So I agree with it to that extent, but I just don't really believe... I believe that this lady is being honest and true. I just don't accept that it's definitely true, if that makes any sense. But because it's very interesting, I want to keep on reading it. And there's another book that I'm reading called Auschwitz 34207, the Joe Rubinstein story, and it's by Nancy Gies. She essentially wrote this biography of this bloke's life as a Holocaust survivor, and she essentially wrote in behalf of this bloke, who, you know, she and a few others interviewed him and got the story, got all his memories. So it's a memoir written by someone. So this bloke's memoir is written on his behalf by this Nancy Gies. And there's another one I'm reading, it's called A Boy in Hiding by Stan Rubens. 58% finished, so I'm already halfway through that book. Just over halfway through. There's a whole lot of new books. Then it says The Emotional Life of the Toddler by Alicia F. Lieberman. 20% finished, so I'm only a quarter of the way through the book. And it is very interesting, and it's very... I can't say I agree with everything she says, but I agree with most of what she says. Maybe she is spot on with everything she's got to say. I just don't happen to agree with everything, but most of it I do think is true. Like, not just true, but I do think it's something I would apply to my life. Not that I have any kids, but if I really was in a spot and had to look after a kid, then which probably will never happen, but say it did, I'd probably know what I'm dealing with. Because this lady writes this book like, if you've seen one child, they're all different, but then again they're all the same. You know, you've seen it all. So there's another book called Auschwitz SS Death Camp by S.M. Janes, or Janice Janes. And so I'm reading that. Oh, there's another book that I really want to read. I really want to read it, called Many Will Be Deceived. It's a new book. Oh, it's listed as new because I haven't even opened the book yet. Russell Ian Jones, 0% finished, so it means I haven't even started reading it. There's a few books with ticks next to them. Death with Dignity by Robert O'Farley. I've started to read it years ago, but haven't really got around to reading it again. The War Diaries of Wary Dunlop, Edward E. Dunlop, and it's 85% finished. I essentially read the Braille version, but I didn't get through all of the Braille version. I got through some of it. So what I did was buy the book on Apple Books a couple of years ago, and then I essentially went to the approximate spot where I'd finished with the Braille paper version. I went to the same spot in the Apple Books version to finish reading from there. And then it says the next book I'm reading is Apollo and America's Moon Landing Program by David N. Spires. It's 55% finished. So I'm sort of nearly halfway through the book. Then there's the Hunger Games trilogy, which is like the entire trilogy of the Hunger Game by Suzanne Collins. I've sort of started to read that, but haven't got around to it again. The South Pole, an account of the Norwegian Antarctic expedition in the Fram, 1910 to 1912. Volume 1 and Volume 2 is by Roald Amundsen, and I started reading it a couple of years ago, but have not started, finished since then. And that's in iCloud. I'll be re-downloading that book from iCloud soon. The complete commentary on the Holy Bible, we started reading that. Early Israel and the Surrounding Nations by Archibald Henry Sayce. That's half finished, but I have started reading it last year and haven't got around to it again. I will, but obviously. Islamic State, it's the IS Encyclopedia, America's War Against ISIL terrorists in Iraq and Syria. Leader al-Baghdadi Levant, Al-Qaeda in Syria, Obama's Al-Qaeda counter-terrorism policy, written by David N. Spires, and they say it's finished. It's not finished. It hasn't finished at all. It's in iCloud, and I haven't even finished reading it. See, the thing I don't like about Apple Books is when you haven't read a book for a long time, it marks it as finished when you haven't marked it yourself. You haven't finished reading it yourself, it just says that you finished reading it. It's like I have not even fucking started reading it yet. Oh, well, I have started reading it, but haven't even finished reading it, and it marks books as finished without me having done anything to indicate that I've finished the book. Then there's another book called Forensics by Val McDermid. It says 96% finished. I'm not even nearly finished the book, so. And then there is Gallipoli Diary. Yeah, right, I don't think it is finished, but anyway. Morishet Volume 1 tonight. Oh, it's not finished. No. Some books are marked off as finished when I haven't even started reading, let alone I've only read a little bit of the book, so how is it finished? Apple Books is pretty bloody stupid. And there's a few other books ticked off that I want to read. Then there's a whole list of new books. There's another book ticked off. There's New Testament Revealed. Oh, I haven't even read that. Ancient Truth, Old Testament History. Haven't started reading it yet, but it's ticked like I've opened the book, but I haven't even started reading it. Then it says Jews Without Power, newly updated edition. Started reading it, but then haven't really, gotten into the book very much yet. Another book that's ticked off is Criminal Psychology, a manual for judges, practitioners and students. Hans Gustav Adolf Gross. Okay, so I've opened the book, haven't actually started reading it yet. Then there's another book that I've opened up. It says My Life in 20/20, Joshua Greentree. Well, I've sort of started reading but haven't done much to get around and reading it. The New World, A History of the United States Atomic Energy Commission, AEC, Volume 1, 1939 to 1945, The Race for the Atomic Bomb, Uranium-235, Plutonium Controlling the Bomb After World War II, and that's written by David N. Spires. I started reading it about 2 weeks ago and I'm still getting around to actually getting into that book again. It's by David N. Spires. There is a whole lot of new books. Whole lot of them. Another book, that's a couple of books. There's NYPD Red. Okay, I haven't even, that's a series. A Peter Tanner thriller. I haven't got around to reading that book yet. Tales of a New World, haven't got around to reading that. Tom Clancy, World Almanac and Book of Facts, started that 2 years ago. Moby Spiritual, multiple authors, okay, I haven't even started that yet. Churchill's Spy Files, that's from ages ago. True Crime, there's, True Crime, multiple authors, yeah, whatever. And now I'm back at the Reading Now tab. So, I'm going to go up to the top. I'm going to scroll up to the top. Because, I've gone through all the books that are currently in my library, and I haven't even got through the books that I've got wanting to read. Won't fucking... 22. Page 22. Page 9 of 22. Okay, that's a lot. Page 1. Collections. Edit. Okay. Want to read? There is 274 books, and I'm going to go through the ones that I really want to read. These books I've not bought yet. Some of them I might have bought, and what I've done is gone through my library and added any new books that I want to read later. I've added them to want to read. Now, there are other books in here that aren't in my library because I'm yet to buy them, but they are in my reading list called Want to Read. It's a reading list of books that I really want to read later. There is a book, I probably won't tell you every single book title that I've got, but I want to go through the ones that I'd love to read soon. That's if I can bloody get through all my other books that I've got in the library. Anyway, there's one book called Unarmed Combat. It's by Martin J. Doherty. I would love to read that soon. That's for $9, so it's $10. Full Black, and there's a little blurb. There's 19 ratings in that book. Then it says everybody knows that governments engage in activities that are top secret and not always carried out by the book. Then they are supposed to be known as Black Ops, but perhaps less well known is that there is a level beyond this when the very existence of the state is threatened and the situation needs fixing instantly and utterly secretly and probably violently. Blah, blah, blah. This huge blurb, and it's $13. So maybe I don't want to read that right now, but then there's another one that I do want to read right now. It is called Extreme Unarmed Combat, SAS and Elite Forces Guide. Okay, by Martin J. Doherty, once again. There's 0 ratings because no one wants to read that book. Then it says, well, this is basically another blurb pretty much that tells you what the book's all about. It's $9. Or it says $8, but I just rounded off to $10. Then if there is a book that I decide I do not want to read, so there's a book that I've decided that I don't want to read. I've put this book called Principles-Based Instruction for Self-Defense and Maybe Life, and that's written by Rory Miller. Look, I did put it into want to read only a few days ago, and I don't want to read it anymore, so I'm going to double tap on more actions. And what have we got here? It says read a free sample. No. Remove download. Remove from want to read. Add to collection. Share. Rate. Love. Dislike. I won't love or dislike. I just want to remove it from want to read because I don't want to read that book anymore. I really don't want to read that book anymore. Okay, I'm going to go down. I'm going to scroll all the way down. Because it gets boring reading through every single book title after a while. There is a book called Forensic Victimology. I would love to read that one. What price is that? This new textbook provides, oh really? And it's $62. No, I'm taking that off want to read because I don't want to read that. No. I'm not reading no. Sorry. I'm not reading that book anymore. We Keep Us Safe. What's the price of that one? $25. A groundbreaking new vision for public safety that overturns more than 200 years of fear-based discrimination, othering and punishment. As the effects of aggressive policing and mass incarceration, blah blah blah. I still think I'd like to read that. It's $26. Then there's another book called When the Dogs Don't Bark. That's by Professor Angela Gallup, and it's 1 rating. It's 5 stars. Okay. Fascinating. A book that will be essential reading for every aspiring crime writer, guardian. Oh, I don't know. No. By the time I arrived at the Woodyard in, I don't know, let me have a think about that one. I'll leave it on my want to read list, but I really don't reckon that I don't know. I'll think about. Give me a few days to think, and I might possibly not want to read this book anymore, because at the time that I add books to want to read, they sound really great and I want to read it. But then in 2 years' time, if that book is still on my want to read list and then I go back to that book and reread the blurb, I'm like, yeah, right, and then I don't want to read it. But I still might want to read it. Oh, I don't know. Techniques up there. Disposal forensics. Yeah, I don't know. It's for $15. Then there's another book called Picking Up the Pieces, Paul Britton. Yeah, okay. The Naughtiest. Oh, there are books that I added a few weeks ago in Blyton Books. Now I really want to read those books, so I'm leaving them. And then there's a bloody US Army Survival Manual. Do I still want to read that? No. This survival manual is organised as follows. No, I'm not interested. It's $6. I don't want to read that. See, that's what I mean. It sounds really interesting at the time. Then I add it to want to read, and then weeks, months later, years later, I'm like, no, I'm not reading that. Overcoming Perceptionism. That sounds pretty good. It's by Roz Shafran, Sarah Egan and Tracy Wade. It's got 0 ratings. How to break the circle of never good enough. Okay. Striving for something can be a healthy and positive attribute, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think I'd read that. It's $14.99, so $15. Yeah, I'd read that. There's another book called The Last Hour by Amir Sarfati. It's rated 5 stars. Avoiding sensationalism and bait. Read it again. See, when I'm reading Braille, I'm like someone who reads print and I say things wrong and I don't read properly. and I'm bloody lazy when I'm reading too, so I miss words and bloody sentences sometimes, and that's even using a flaming braille display, for God's sake. So yeah, I'm as bad as the rest of the bloody world. Avoiding sensationalism and date speculating. Respected Bible teacher Amir Safati uses his unique perspective as an Israeli Christian to lead you through a fascinating modern-day description of God's plan for the end of the world. Okay, it's probably very religious, but very interesting as well, if that makes any sense. I'm not suggesting that this book will be interesting reading for everybody, because religion's a bit like you like it or hate it. See, I have a mixture of religious and non-religious material, so some of it could be offensive, some of it might not be, but I'm just giving you my view of the situation as it stands with me reading. It's either interesting or I've decided that I don't want it. So if it's in my want to read book and it seemed interesting at the time, it might not seem interesting later, and so I'm like, I don't want that book anymore. That's how I'm like with non-religious materials. I'm like that with religious material. I'm like that with political stuff or non-fiction or fiction. Just any book that I put on my want to read list that I'm like, oh cool, I'm going to be getting that one day. The next time I go to it to check it out, I'm like, yeah, right, I don't think so. Then it says, grounded from start to finish in Scripture, the book reveals how the rapture, the imminent rise of the Antichrist, and the tragic horrors of the Great Tribulation will play out in our world today. Okay, so it's grounded in Scripture. Other people will say that their opinions are grounded in the Bible too. So I would take that with a grain of salt if I were you, because, okay, his opinion might be grounded in the Bible, but is it still the right opinion? Is he interpreting the Bible correctly, or is he wrong? The way other people interpret the Bible sounds pretty scripturally grounded too, but is it right? Possibly not. So you can't be sure. When someone says, oh, my Bible, my opinions are grounded in the Bible, okay, well, yours can be as well, mine can be as well, but we have all different opinions about the same book. So when you read a religious text, take it as you will. Don't take it the way everyone else wants you to. Oh, you could if you want. You could say that maybe I'm saying something that's agreeable, or what I think is apparently wrong to other people. But then at the same time, if you're going to read a religious text, then you're reading it to get what you want out of it too. You're not just reading it going, someone else said this and that, so it has to be true. I'm pretty careful with religious books, because everyone who writes a book is going to say that their opinion's grounded in the Bible. Well, it probably is, but is it the right one or is it the wrong one? You know, you never know. And the point with what I'm saying is that everyone will say that their opinion is grounded in the Bible, but it's all different opinions. So how do you know if it's grounded in the Bible or not? People can read a Bible scripture and say, this is why I believe something, but that doesn't make it right. So if you want to believe it's right, that's fine. You know, if you want to believe it's wrong, then I guess it's fine, but you've got to make sure that what you're believing is really definite for you when you're reading it. Is it definitely wrong? You know, can you think of any reasons for why it would be wrong? Why a certain opinion or interpretation would be right or wrong, you know? This is why when I read religious material, I read it and think, oh yeah, whatever. And it's $10, this book is. But yeah, when I read a book that's religious, I just think, yeah, that's just his opinion. And if I read the Bible myself to find out, it might prove fake. it might just be a fake authorship. So like this, person can give his opinions, and then I read the Bible and think, yeah, right, how did he come up with that idea? I think it's fake. What he if someone says something and says, oh, it says that in the Bible, and I'm like, no, not really, but anyway, that's that's just a load of rubbish, but anyway, when you're reading a religious book, just read it and just go, yeah, right, it's boring, or maybe it's interesting, but maybe it's not. Then there's Encyclopedia of North American Birds. I'm considering buying it. I can't be sure. Into the Drowning Deep by Myra Grant. That's $9. And it's still interesting. I want to read it. The Rodale Book of Composting, newly revised and updated, okay. $14. I can't really decide if I want to keep reading it, but I might just keep reading it. I might just buy it and read it. Then it's the Holocaust Diaries, Book 2. Yeah, okay. Probably read that. Holocaust Diaries, Book 1. Okay, I'll be reading those books. Australians, Volume 3. Let me just have a read. It's Volume 3. I'm going to take that off my want to read list, because I've got Volume 3, but they don't have Volume 1 to 1 and 2. Like, why would you want to read Volume 3 of a encyclopedia thing, book, but they don't have Volume 1 and 2? I think that sucks, really. I've gotten rid of it. No. Whatever. The Holocaust Diaries. The inspiration for the upcoming movie War Machine, $12. I'll leave that there, because you never know, will I decide that I didn't like it, but now I do. I'll read it, I don't know. Sterling Work, The Story of the SAS During World War II. Okay, I'm keeping that book. Then it says, another book that I missed, it says Delta Force Jericho 1. Yeah, okay, I'll keep that in my reading list. Blackbird Cold War Spy Planes. Yeah, I'll keep that one. The Cold War drove military innovation and none more than the need to... That's just a blurb. Tiger... What does that mean? Anyway, I'm about to check. One main track had snapped and 3 road wheels had been blown apart. Yeah, okay, I'll keep that book just in case. It's $6. ISIS Dusk, Special Forces War in Syria and Iraq. Yeah, whatever. I'll keep that on my reading list. Black Ops. What is that book about? Black Ops, Stories of Heroism and Bravery. Yeah, okay. Keep that for now. I might not like to keep it on my reading list. Landers, one German soldier's story of the war on the Eastern Front. Okay. And that's by Steve Stone. Okay. 3 stars. Oh yes, I volunteered to sneak up and throw a grenade into the bomb crater containing 4 Red Army soldiers, as the rest of the company gave me some covering fire. Okay, and about, yep. That sounds terribly frightening. It's $5. Could always buy that one, eh? There's another Steve Stone book called Frontline, A Soldier's Story. Okay, I'll be keeping those books. Acts of Valor, US Navy SEALs Story of Heroism. Yeah, I'm keeping that one. It's terrifying, but I'm going to read it anyway. Afghan Heat, SAS Operations in Afghanistan, so SAS. Fire Along the Sky. Okay. The way we communicate has changed. Today, many of our interactions are digital. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to keep that book. Stone Cold. 4.5 stars. Okay. Right. I'll be reading that anyway. The Lord of the Rings. I'm going to read that. $17. 13 Reasons Why. No, I don't want that book. Or do I? It's $11. I'll keep that in my what to read list. A Game of Thrones. I'm keeping that book. It's $49. I want to see if the price goes down later. It's $50. Game of Thrones. I'm going to wait for the price to go down on that book. Lake in the Clouds. There's 4.5 stars. Okay. Love it. Adventure. Yeah, I'll keep that in spring 1802. Village of Paradise is still really good. Yeah, I'm gonna read that. The Gilded Hour. Okay. Fire Along the Sky again. Rating is 4.5. The Epic Frontier Tale of Love and Adventure. Yeah, okay, it's a series thing. It's a series. I think there's a way that you can add series to Apple Books wanting to read list without adding each individual book, I think. So when you add the series to the want to read list, then you tap on that book. It then has all of the books that you could buy or read. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to keep that one. Into the Wilderness. Whatever. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I know it says F***CK, but it's the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. What is the price? It's 4.5 stars and it's $17. How to Turn Down $1 Billion. Yeah, it's on my reading list, but it says read. So I've downloaded the book. Okay. Two Sisters. The Angel of Grozny? The Angel of Grozny. Oh, I'll read that one day. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I'll be downloading that book one day. Wonder. Read. Okay. The Threat. 3 ratings. It's 4.5 stars. $17. The Girl in the Dark. History of Phoenicia. I've got that book, but it's in what to read. What is this book? Napoleon and the Struggle for Germany, Volume 1. Okay. The thing I hate about these books is that they've got one volume, but where are the other volumes? I don't think I want to read that. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now, because who knows. Full Circle of Refugees Tale, yeah, keep that. I've added these books to want to read ages ago. Auschwitz escaped the Carla Weasel story. She escaped from Auschwitz. 4.5 stars. Oh, it's read. Okay. I didn't even know I had that book there to read. Oh, I had no idea. After Auschwitz. Oh, you're kidding me. Okay. The Man Who Broke Into Auschwitz. Oh, okay. I've added these books so many years ago. A memoir, a thriller, and a historical adventure rolled into one. Yeah, whatever. Oh, it's in my library. Ancient Man, The Beginning of Civilizations. I really wanted to read that one, and it's 0 stars, and it says Prehistoric Man. Okay. Oh, it's in my library. Holy crap. Understanding Suicide and Its Prevention. I used to want to read that, but now I don't want it. Oh, it's in my bloody library. Okay, I'll read it anyway. I'm going to read it. If it's in my library ready to read, then it meant that at some point I wanted to read it, and if I no longer want to read, I'll give it a go, and I still have the chance to dislike that book. I can like or dislike it. There's a love and a dislike icon. So if I really don't like it, I can just dislike. Okay, but yeah, I could go on for fucking ages about that. I could go on for fucking ages, and ages and ages and ages. Go on for bloody ages, I could. I really could. And open that door, and if anybody wants to come in, they can. Well, walk in from the... I've got my door unlocked, so, well... It means I'm willing to let someone walk in to talk to me if they want, and up to them. If I'm not here, it's because I'll be going to sports. That's what I'll be doing. Oh, there's another book in my library. Okay. Gangland Crimes That Shocked Australia by Ian Ferguson. Oh, that's in my library as well. Next one's in my library. There's a lot of books on this list that are in my library. When a Titanic explodes. Wow. Okay. Last thing she told me. Oh, that's rating. It's $11. Haven't bought that book yet. It still sounds good. Eyewitness to History. Rating is 3.5 stars, and it's only $1. If time travel were to become possible, most people would choose to visit. Oh, it's only $1. Dork Diaries, Drama Queen. Do I want to even continue to read that? It's $10. Total Disaster, Mean Girl, Mackenzie Has Stolen Nikki's Diary. Yeah, okay, I want to keep reading that. Yes. I want to keep reading. After a bump on the head. Oh, hang on. I've got all these different books here. I'm just going to scroll up a bit. Oh yeah, I've got a few books in my library that I could be reading, but haven't got around to it yet. The Second World War saw the role, whatever. Right, that's in my library. Terror Has No Diary. Okay, that's in my library as well. Okay. Page 182. 188. Okay. 174 of 188. 180 of 188. What book have I not even thought of? The Hunger Games takes place. But hang on. Islamic State. Already reading that. I'm already reading it. Already reading that. Reading all of that. You know what it is. I've been forgetting to, when I start reading books, I forget to remove those books from reading now. If I start reading a book, I need to go to more actions and click on remove from want to read. And I never do that. I don't know why. So even when I finish reading a book, it thinks I want to read it because I haven't removed from want to read. Damn. Oh, fuck. That's crap. Okay, so I'm back at the reading now tab. So that's how many books there are. There are too many to get through. And the clock is 3:14. Oh, that's all right. I've got exercising at 4 o'clock today. Exercising at 4, and then when I get back at 5, I'm going to, I guess I'll be, I don't know. I'm torn between doing potato and pumpkin for dinner or waiting until tomorrow to do it again. I'm really torn, really. Just torn. I just don't know what I want to do. I just do not know what I want to do. Okay, I've just paused the recording and come back because I had to go to the loo. So yeah, anyway, I'm back. If you're wondering why I suddenly stopped the recording, well, I had to pause and come back because of a loo break. I wonder what updates I need to do here. Probably nothing. No, I'm just going to get out of the App Store because nothing I need to do to really update anything. I'm going to leave here at about 10 minutes to 4 for exercise. I need to go into some of these books that I'm reading and take them out of want to read because they're in want to read because I want to read them, but once I start reading them, I don't need them in my want to read list anymore. I don't need to leave them in a list that I would keep books in. If I haven't read them yet, then those books go in there, but if I have read them, they're not going into that. They don't need to stay in that list anymore. Oh God. Let me get a head start on that now. Okay. If I go to reading now, More actions. Remove. Oh no, that's not in want to read at all. I might click on. It's one of those books that I don't believe what the author says, but then I still love the book because she's interesting to read. What she writes is interesting, but it's not something I think ought to take seriously. It's one of those books where the author's being truthful. She's not making things up, but I just don't believe her because it's not part of my religious perspective to believe her. I'll love the book. The emotional. Oh, I love The Emotional Life of the Toddler. I love it. Just gonna take a book out of want to read if I can find it. Remove, add to one. Oh, you're kidding me. A lot of books that, there's a couple of books in want to read that I'm already reading. Oh, I give up. I can't find the books that's in want to read that I'm reading already. I don't know. Just going to take an aimless shot at another book, and if it's not in my want to read list, then I give up on trying to find it. Oh, bugger it. Bugger it. Well, I think that's me done for now. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do for tea tonight. I can't decide if I want to do more veggies or if I just want to have a break and just make a baked bean and cheese toasty, where you get the sandwich maker and you plug it in and you make sandwiches, and then you put the little top down, and then you just do baked beans and cheese. So you put the top down and then you toast them, and they come out toasted. Once you get them off the little toasting plate, they're really nice. Yeah, I might make toasted sandwiches for dinner. I might do that. I don't have any ham though. I've got baked beans and I've got eggs, but I don't have ham or salami. Oh, that would be so nice. Yum. That would be so yum. I love ham, cheese and salami. Even if it's got baked beans, ham, cheese, salami. Yum. 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 Yum, yum, yum. Anyway, I'll decide what I do for dinner tonight when I get back from sports. And what am I going to do then? I'll probably, I think I might socialise a bit, have a meal, and then lie down for the night. And then just go to sleep eventually and wake up fresh tomorrow. Oh, because of O&M in the afternoon. Shit. Have to be ready for O&M in the afternoon. another soft drink that's up on my bench that I'd like to put away, put in the fridge. There's another bottle of water or something in the fridge too. God, everything in my fridge. Anyhow, I'm going to get off of this recording and I'll be back again much later.